Good morning from New York to all gathered from many locations around the world, from the Americas, via Africa and Europe, all the way to the Pacific. Welcome one, welcome all. A reminder, we have interpretation this morning in French, Spanish, and Portuguese. You can access it by clicking on the global icon at the bottom of your screen and choose your language. I am Winifred Doherty, your NGO representative at the United Nations. We are live on Zoom presenting a parallel event at the 67th session of the Commission on the Status of Women. Our event is entitled Girls and Women Impacting the Digital Era. And the hashtag is Girls for Gender Justice. You can look forward to an interesting and stimulating event as girls share their digital journeys and experiences with us. The girls have been engaged at multiple levels as global advocates, as innovators, game makers, and poets, while addressing the many negative experiences coming from social media sites that impact them, by promoting good cyber practices in Asia Pacific, and secure digital networks for the exercise of girls' rights in Latin America. A new term, tech-facilitated gender-based violence, has developed in the lead-up to the Commission. You will hear from girls today on how some of them are experiencing this new form of violence without having connectivity or devices themselves. It is a significant moment in history with a giant leap forward in digital capacity. At the global level, this presents an opportunity to harmonize technological innovation with humanity's highest wisdom. At the end of this first week of the Commission, I have heard strong calls from girls all around the world and from women presidents and women parliamentarians alike that tech-facilitated gender-based violence must end now. Thank you for joining us. Before I introduce our moderator, I want to acknowledge our dedicated interpreters, Anne-Marie, Daniela, Delia. The girl mentors who lead across the continents, Sashi, Alfredo, Ernestine, Bernadine, Kimberly Maloche, my colleague in the GSIJP office. Thank you to each and everyone who collaborated with me and with us in the office to make this event happen. Let me hand over to our moderator, Crystal. Crystal is 18 years of age and is from Sri Lanka and is sitting her final exams in October. Crystal is planning to study law. Crystal, as a moderator of the Asia Pacific event at International Day of the Girl in 2021 and 2022, and now at the CSW67 event. Crystal told me that these experiences have been massive eye-openers for her. Crystal is keen to be a girl advocate and sees herself advocating into the future. Crystal is also blessed with a singing talent and makes song covers at least once a week and has a plan for a singing career. So without further ado, I hand over to you, Crystal, and thank you very much for moderating this panel. Crystal, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Winifred, for that lovely introduction. A very good morning, afternoon, and evening to all present here today. I am Crystal, a student from Sri Lanka, and I'll be your moderator. Today, we've got an interesting event in store for you all, and I believe that internet access is a human right. During this time, we will be listening to the voices of the girls from Latin America, Asia Pacific, and across Africa who will share their views and status on the digital revolution. As powerful girl advocates belonging to the Good Shepherd global family, we share our realities and hopes for complete and equitable digital access to all girls and boys. We are united in the belief that each one of us has the power to shape the destiny of our nation and care for our Mother Earth. With increased digital access, including girl-specific digital education and digital literacy. To elaborate on our program this morning, we have got 3 segments. The first is from Latin America, addressing secure digital networks for the exercise of girls' rights. During the second segment, the panelists from Asia Pacific will share on good cyber practice and application. The third panel presents experiences of girls in Africa from the East Coast to the West Coast on lack of digital access. Before we set off, I would like to specially appreciate the girls from Good Shepherd Philippines who have been engaging ardently over these last few weeks in the Girls' Caucus. Girls' Caucus is a public forum for girls to discuss the progress at CSW in regards to the interests and needs of girls, to review the zero draft document of agreed conclusions of the Commission, to propose policy, make edits, and introduce new language as it relates to girls, as well as to develop advocacy strategies for use during CSW67 and beyond. This is a building block which determines the direction of the International Day of the Girl event in October. Isabel and Kylie have actively contributed to the series of conversations around the priority theme of CSW67, innovation and technological change, and education in the digital age for achieving gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls. As we applaud them for this collaborative effort, let us listen to their share of the caucus experience.
Hello, everyone. I'm Isabel. I am a member of the coordinating team for this year's Girls Caucus.
And I'm Kylene, one of the facilitators for Girls Caucus.
So thank you for having us at this parallel event. So now let me just ask, Kylene, what is the Girls Caucus?
I got you. The Girls Caucus is a forum of girls responsible for reviewing the Zero Draft and girls' recommendations and providing feedback on the language, content, and structure, utilizing their unique perspective and past experiences. And during the process, we had the opportunity to collaborate with girl leaders across the globe. As you all know, this year's priority theme was innovation and technological change and education in the digital age for achieving gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls. So, what was the process during the Public Girls Caucus? First, we held a brief orientation and introduction for girls advocates and for those who are not necessarily included with the team. Considering the lengthy document, we figured it was efficient for us to break out into groups that will be handling specific paragraphs of the Zero Draft. Personally, I handle the paragraphs targeting the fostering gender-responsive digital and science and technology education in the digital age. In each group, we suggested and discussed on numerous relevant matters, such as the language, structure, content, and essence of each paragraphs. After the Girls Caucus, we reflected back on our experiences and what each of us had discussed. And lastly, the facilitators compiled the suggestions and conclusions to produce the girls' recommendations document after each session, which will be sent to the UN member states.
Thank you for that, Kylene. So now that she detailed the caucus process, I will be giving an overview on the girls' recommendations. So we found that for this specific set of agreed conclusions, girls call for more emphasis on girls and all their diversities in the document and the importance of their digital access and accessibility, the means to have quality public education programs that promote digital and media literacy for girls, among other things, digital education as a fundamental right, and digital training for all institutions, especially educators and family members, for the prioritization of girls' mental health, especially in the context of media exposure, for mandatory requirements for mechanisms that mitigate the negative impact of technology in society, but especially for girls, and for the effective legislation that serves to protect girls from and to reduce technology-facilitated gender-based violence, as well as effective support systems and justice systems to make sure that this legislation does not go to waste. And finally, a guarantee for menstrual hygiene and contraception to be available relief items in the event of natural emergencies or conflicts. So all of this stemmed from a series of discussions between girls from different countries and different organizations. And it was actually nice that there is this diverse group of girls because we learned something new from each other. So for example, this one, a guarantee for menstrual hygiene and contraception. I was actually surprised when this group from Madagascar and the Ivory Coast suggested contraception because it isn't necessarily something that you'd think first of asking for when you're in this particular context, but this is actually their reality. And while it's unfortunate that this is something that they have to think of, it's nice to be able to learn that this is a need and for it to be represented in this document. And so now that we have the girls' recommendations, what exactly do we do now? Okay, so there's always the virtual Vienna Cafe. So this is a series of meetings with member state representatives to lobby our recommendations. And in our experience, I was actually able to attend one session last week, and I was in conversation. I was in a group with a member or a representative from Latvia, and you'll be happy to know that as well I was lobbying for technology facilitated gender-based violence. For the measures against that, they're actually very adamant about protecting girls from this particular issue in the agreed conclusions. And then there will be conversation circles, which are digital space to advocate for girls' rights in specific contexts, such as economic justice, climate chaos, education, violence against women and girls, and queer rights. So I believe all of this will start on March 15th. So there are a lot of things lined up for girls' rights in the CSW67, and caucus is just one of them, as well as this parallel event. So once again, we have been Isabel and
I have been Kylene, and thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Isabel and Kylene. And let us show our appreciation for Isabel and Kylene by using the emojis on Zoom and express our solidarity with them and the girl activists who are now present at CSW67. And now let's give a warm welcome to Vivian as she moderates the next segment in Latin America, engaging her friends from Ecuador and Bolivia. Vivian is from Ecuador in her final year in school. She is an active girl advocate, and she represented us all at the International Day of the Girl 2022 in October at the United Nations. Over to you, Vivian.
Gracias, Crystal. Sí, la representación del Día Internacional de la Niña en las Naciones Unidas fue una experiencia maravillosa para mí. Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. Mi nombre es Vivian, tengo 17 años y soy de Ecuador. Gracias por invitarme a moderar el segmento Latinoamérica, titulado Red Digital Segura para el Ejercicio de Derechos de las Niñas. Estoy presentando a las niñas de Latinoamérica que quieren ejercer y reclamar sus derechos. Con la ayuda de mis colegas, Paulina y Camila, me gustaría contarles un poco sobre la realidad de la vida de las niñas en países como Ecuador y Bolivia. Soy parte de un grupo de niñas donde diferentes partes de América Latina se han beneficiado de la capacitación de liderazgo, de niñas en espacios seguros y han disfrutado de conversaciones centradas en los derechos de las niñas. Nuestro contexto hoy es un mundo post-pandemia, donde se cuestionan muchas situaciones y se cambiaron muchas formas de vivir. Estas dinámicas nos llevaron a relacionarnos como sociedad de diferentes formas, generando situaciones buenas y generando situaciones malas a lo largo de este proceso. Un elemento que marca nuestra vida es el uso de redes digitales. Son un aliado fundamental en casi todo lo que hacemos: trabajo, estudio, salud, etc. Para las niñas, el amplio desarrollo de tecnología es una oportunidad de acceder a un mundo que muchas veces nos es negado o parcialmente dado. A un mundo de conocimiento que nos ayude a ejercer nuestros derechos de manera concreta. A un mundo con nosotras incluidas. La intervención que haremos hoy resaltará a las niñas cómo piensan y sienten sobre los beneficios y perjuicios de las redes sociales y cómo creemos que se deben fomentar las buenas prácticas. Actualmente estamos participando en un proyecto en la región latinoamericana impulsado por la Fundación Internacional de Buen Pastor, que se compromete a empoderarnos como niñas. Este proyecto está lanzado en diferentes plataformas digitales que nos permitirá mantener vínculos y crear espacios para las conversaciones de las niñas en diferentes países de la región. Es a través de experiencias como estas que las redes sociales nos brindan la oportunidad de comunicarnos entre todo el mundo y continente y defender y promover los derechos de las niñas en el hogar y en todo el mundo. Ahora, permítanme presentarles a Paulina y a Camila. Hola Paulina y Camila, bienvenidas a nuestro segmento latinoamericano. Estoy segura de que todo el mundo está ansioso por escuchar sus experiencias. Paulina, ¿puedes compartir tu experiencia con nosotros?
Gracias, Vivian. Hola a todos, soy Paulina, tengo 12 años y vivo en Ecuador. Actualmente asisto a un colegio de la congregación de Nuestra Señora de la Caridad del Buen Pastor. Como mencionó Vivian, desde el año pasado he participado en un proceso de empoderamiento y formación de liderazgo de niñas. Esta experiencia me ha permitido ver y reconocer muchos aspectos y situaciones sobre lo que vivimos las niñas con respecto a nuestros derechos y nuestro rol como líderes en la sociedad. De los espacios de conversación con niñas de otros países, me he podido dar cuenta que ser niña en Latinoamérica es un reto. Muchas veces, la forma en que la sociedad discrimina a las niñas limita nuestro desarrollo y las oportunidades que podamos tener en el ejercicio de nuestros derechos. El acceso a la educación, la salud y otros servicios con calidad no se proporcionan adecuadamente, sobre todo en el área rural, debido al apoyo insuficiente del Estado. Además, las propias familias no priorizan las necesidades de las niñas, porque no entienden cómo hemos sido discriminadas y se nos ha negado el acceso a la educación y a la atención médica. Educar a las niñas y defender sus derechos es primordial para el pleno desarrollo de nuestros países y región.
Gracias, Paulina, por resaltar cómo se discriminan a las niñas. Paulina, ¿qué aprendieron las niñas sobre la tecnología durante pandemia?
Mucho antes de la pandemia, ya existían las redes digitales en América Latina, pero las niñas vivíamos en una brecha digital. Se adaptaron nuevas aplicaciones digitales y el acceso virtual en las escuelas durante la pandemia para facilitar la educación. Estas herramientas nos permitieron continuar con nuestros estudios, a pesar de las restricciones por el confinamiento que estábamos experimentando. Con este nuevo mundo digital, apareció una oportunidad en donde tendríamos la posibilidad de acceder a todo un mundo de información, especialmente en busca de conocer y ejercer nuestros derechos. Además, que pudimos usar la tecnología para comunicarnos con nuestras compañeras, desarrollar relaciones a larga distancia y continuar con nuestras vidas.
Es muy cierto lo que expones, sobre todo con respecto a cómo podríamos aprovechar las redes. ¿Cómo ves que podemos seguir aprovechando esta herramienta?
El regreso a la nueva normalidad nos brinda aprendizajes y desafíos. Podemos aprovechar los aspectos positivos. Mejor educación, mejores formas de comunicarnos entre nosotros, de manera justa e inclusiva, sin restricciones por la edad o el hecho de ser niñas. Hemos aprovechado cada oportunidad que se nos ha presentado para aprender y empoderarnos y así enfrentar los aspectos negativos que plantean las redes sociales. El pleno empoderamiento digital solo se puede lograr con la implementación de leyes y la buena gobernanza de las plataformas en las redes sociales, que monitoreen y eliminen contenido que es dañino, destructivo o acosador. Desafiamos a nuestras familias y comunidades locales a comprender que los tiempos han cambiado y las instamos a trabajar con el lema Derecho y Voz de las Niñas.
Muchas gracias, Paulina. El reto es grande. Si bien sabemos que tenemos que aprovechar todas las oportunidades que se presenten, estoy segura que vamos a mejorar nuestra situación y la de las niñas en Latinoamérica. Ahora es momento de dejar paso a Camila. Bienvenida, Camila. Cuéntanos un poco sobre ti y cuál es la situación actual del uso de redes digitales por parte de las niñas en Bolivia.
Muchas gracias, Vivian. Mi nombre es Camila. Tengo 14 años y soy de Bolivia. Vivo en la ciudad de La Paz. Soy participante del programa de niñez de la Congregación de Nuestra Señora de la Caridad del Buen Pastor. Desde el año pasado, Paulina y yo hemos sido parte de un proceso de capacitación en empoderamiento y liderazgo con otras niñas de mi barrio. Nuestra realidad como niños en Bolivia es bastante similar al resto de Latinoamérica con respecto al uso de las redes digitales. Nuestro desarrollo como niñas ha estado influenciado por saber o no saber usar o no usar herramientas digitales. Las herramientas digitales ya no son un lujo, sino una necesidad y un derecho. Es curioso que en el pasado nuestras madres y padres nos enseñaran a ser parte de esta sociedad, pero con el desarrollo de la tecnología, nosotras las niñas nos hemos convertido en las que enseñamos a nuestros padres a usar el correo electrónico, los teléfonos celulares e incluso cómo hacer transferencias bancarias en línea.
Gracias, Camila. Ese es un punto interesante. Las niñas enseñan a los padres a partir de su experiencia en el uso de las redes sociales e Internet. ¿Sientes que existen obstáculos para que las niñas se desarrollen en este mundo virtual?
Navegar por estas redes genera grandes beneficios, pero hay cierto contenido que expone a las niñas a riesgos y daños, incluido el ciberacoso, el acoso, la pornografía, la trata de personas y muchos otros delitos. Es hora de revisar la realidad en la que vivimos cuando accedemos a estos espacios. La posible exposición de las niñas a redes que utilizan el ciberespacio para actividades delictivas o como camuflaje para atacar y victimizar a las niñas hace que las niñas seamos vulnerables a estos ataques. Las madres y los padres que no tienen el conocimiento suficiente sobre protección digital no pueden hacer frente a estas circunstancias amenazantes que enfrentamos nosotras como niñas.
Sí, hay muchas situaciones en las que unirse a redes sociales puede ser riesgoso para las niñas, especialmente unirse a espacios desconocidos. Lo vemos día a día. ¿Qué acciones crees que debería tomar la sociedad para cuidar a las niñas frente a esos peligros?
Ante la existencia de sitios amenazantes y dañinos, la primera reacción de las madres y padres y autoridades ha sido restringirnos el acceso a este tipo de redes digitales, como medida ideal para que las niñas no seamos agredidas. Pero esta situación castiga a las niñas, impidiéndoles beneficiarse del pleno acceso a un universo de información que apoya su desarrollo. La solución más lógica es que las políticas se elaboren e implementen con el cuidado adecuado para la protección de las niñas. Es necesario de que el remedio no sea peor que la enfermedad. No es que las niñas accedamos a los espacios virtuales, sino que el espacio sea seguro para nosotras las niñas.
Muchas gracias, Camila. Realmente ha sido una excelente síntesis de los posibles peligros con respecto al ciberespacio. Tenemos una visión de las redes digitales para promover los derechos de las niñas. Por eso es fundamental, aquí y ahora, nos comprometemos a promover más políticas de cuidado en redes digitales, no basadas en restringir el acceso de las niñas a este mundo tecnológico, en nombre de su protección, sino en garantizar espacios seguros e inclusivos para las niñas. Concretar proyectos y oportunidades para que las niñas de las zonas rurales accedan a la información de las redes digitales con servicios de calidad, reduciendo la brecha que actualmente existe entre el campo y la ciudad, especialmente en nuestro sector poblacional. Informar y sensibilizar a las madres, padres y población en general, no solo en los riesgos que existen en las redes sociales, sino también en los beneficios que traen y cómo pueden fortalecerse los procesos de aprendizaje. Súmate a esta lucha para lograr un cambio a favor de las niñas con el objetivo de que solo podemos lograr cuando nos comprometemos por la igualdad, la no discriminación y la erradicación de toda violencia en nuestra sociedad. Muchas gracias, Paulina y Camila. Espero que hayan disfrutado este segmento. Ahora le pasaremos el micrófono a Crystal para moderar el siguiente segmento.
Thank you, Vivian. And hats off to our moderator, Vivian, and our two panelists, Paulina and Camila, from Latin America, who've shared their voices and drove some truths home on secure digital network for the exercise of girls' rights. I feel the power in this digital space as we connect in solidarity and engage in these conversations which are so significant. Moving on to the other side of the globe, without further ado, I would like to invite all to watch a short video made following IDG 2021, when girl advocates from Good Shepherd Asia Pacific came together and expressed the urgent need to know about and promote good cyber practice, following which is a 6-month-long program to sensitize the adults on safeguarding measures to be undertaken in the best interest of all stakeholders was launched. Kudos to Good Shepherd Asia Pacific for being a trailblazer. That was quite insightful and had many valuable messages for us. Now let me introduce you to our next group of panelists from Asia Pacific, Jasmine, Susan, and Teresa. We have Jasmine, who is a young climate activist from Good Shepherd, Chennai. Jasmine has prepared an interesting way to bring us all to the table and have tough conversations. Jasmine will be joined by Susan, who is an 11th grade from the Good Shepherd School in Chennai, a girls' rights advocate and someone who believes that change starts within her. Finally, I am delighted to welcome our adult champion, Ms. Teresa Simons, who is from Good Shepherd, Malaysia. Teresa has been a pillar of strength and guidance to us all, especially as we ventured to act upon our thoughts as young girls' rights advocates. Thank you, Teresa. Now, over to you, Jasmine, to lead us through an exciting time of co-learning.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here. I hope you can see the presentation. Okay. So as Crystal said, my name is Jasmine, and I'm a student at the Good Shepherd School, Chennai, India. We are actively involved in advocating for climate justice and gender equality through technology. We are the digital generation, and it is through this that we can achieve women and girl empowerment. Some of the programs Good Shepherd Chennai have been involved with our collaboration with NGOs such as Bhumi and Pratyek. Recently, we participated in a process organized by Nine is Mine to draft a formal response to the UN Draft General Comment 26 on the children's rights and the environment, with a special focus on climate change on the digital platform. Apart from various conversation circles, we came up with a game to teach and spread awareness on his ecological rights, as it is essential for every child to know them. I acknowledge my schoolmates, Maria Akshaya and Anahita Miranda, for preparing this activity. One of the best ways to connect with Generation Z is through digital games. We used the age-old game familiar to all parts of the world, Snakes and Ladders. I invite Susan, my senior from school, to play with us. Susan, are you ready?
Hi everyone, I'm Susan Persis, a 16-year-old student from Good Shepherd School, Chennai, India. It's an honor, in fact, to be a part of this amazing initiative taken to create awareness. Once again, thank you so much for having me. Over to you, Jasmine.
Okay. Just a second to fix the screen share thing. Thank you for your response, Susan. So are we ready to play Snakes and Ladders?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So I hope you can see the presentation. Okay, let's begin. Sorry with the technical issue. Okay, so let's roll the die. So we get number 4. So we jump to 4, which is right. Number 4, which is parents' responsibility. So let's talk about parents' responsibility. So we heard something about parents with children just now from Latin America. So I would like to say that it's every child's right to have good education, shelter, food, and most importantly, the love of a parent. It is the responsibility of the parents to nurture the child with good values and lead a good example for the child. For example, during COVID times, it was the responsibility of the parents to provide the child with a device to attend online class. And as we heard, there were many children who were not able to attend classes because the parents couldn't provide them with a device. Okay, do you get the hang of the game? Shall we toss again? Okay, this time we have number 5. So we skip from 4 and we jump 5 steps to 9. The 9th right is illegal removal of data. So why do you think hackers target children? Well, it is because they are innocent and vulnerable. That's what Latin America just told us, that children are vulnerable. So it's the same everywhere. So that's why we have the same point as well. So that is why we are all here today, to spread awareness on these rights, to protect children from hackers and cyber dangers. It is important for every child to be aware that hackers are always there in the form of cool video games. Kristen, could you please tell us something about this?
Indeed, Jasmine, and to mention, adults who lack adequate knowledge on digital platforms are equally susceptible to being victimized as well. Jasmine, do you suggest some initiatives that could be necessary to educate the ignorant society?
Yes, Kristen, let's toss the die and see where it takes us to search for the answer. So in number 9, we had a ladder taking us up to 29, which is government accountability. Okay, ecological right, number 29, government accountability. Okay, let's talk about our government, where I live, in India. Our government has made many cyber security initiatives like conducting awareness programs, creating cybercrime reporting websites, and we even have a cybercrime helpline number. I would like to ask Mr. Riza if she can comment on government accountability.
Thank you, Jasmine. Hello, everyone. It's so good to be with you at this event. Thank you for inviting me to comment on government accountability. I would like to quote the UN Deputy Secretary General, Amina Mohammed, who said, "Collectively, our task is to help design environments that can connect everyone with a positive future. That is why we need a common effort with collaboration among national and local governments, the private sector, civil society, academia, and multilateral organizations." This call to action clearly shows that cybersecurity is a collective effort, and governments need to ensure that there are laws, policies, and procedures in place to protect users such as you and I, and to regulate the usage of the internet and computers in general. So here, we are talking about digital rights and responsibilities, and how important it is that technology advances inclusion and equity, especially for women and girls in developing countries. This is recognized and affirmed in the Sustainable Development Goal 4 on quality education, where indicator 4.4.1 measures how many youths and adults have the right information technology skills, giving them a path to better jobs in the 21st century workplace. Hence, good government policies on cybersecurity ensures a safe space for the inclusion and participation of all, especially women and girls. Over to you, Jasmine, for the next toss-up.
Thank you, Teresa, for your wonderful points and very valuable points. Okay, let's roll the diagram. Okay, we get 2. So we jump from government accountability to 31, which is privacy and security. So privacy and security is a very important point for cybersecurity and safety. Susan, could you please tell us a few tips on how we can improve on privacy and security?
Sure, Jasmine. Good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone. Today, I would like to talk about an important issue that is becoming increasingly important in the world, cybersecurity. With more and more learning happening online, it's essential that we take steps to protect ourselves from cyber threats. First of all, let's talk about some of the cybersecurity concerns. One of the biggest issues is the protection of sensitive information, such as personal data, financial information, and records. Hackers can target anyone and are on the lookout for vulnerable victims to gain access to sensitive data, disrupt operations, or steal intellectual property. This can have severe consequences, including reputational damage and financial loss. So what can we do to protect ourselves from these cyber threats? Here are a few tips. The first one being, use strong passwords. This might seem like an obvious one, but it's essential to use strong passwords for all our online accounts. You need to make sure your password is at least 12 characters long, includes a mix of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Your second point will be, keep software up to date. Ensure that all software, including antivirus and firewall programs, are up to date. This will help prevent vulnerabilities from being exploited by hackers. Your third point will be aware of phishing scam. Phishing scam is basically a common way for hackers to gain access to your information. Be careful when opening emails or clicking unknown sources. Your fourth point will be, use a virtual private network, VPN. A VPN can add extra layer of security when you're connecting to the internet. It encrypts your internet traffic, making it more challenging for hackers to intercept. Educate, and your final point will be educate yourself and others. Cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. Educate yourself and others about the risk and how you can protect against them. So in conclusion, cybersecurity is an important issue that needs to be taken seriously. And by following these tips, you can stay vigilant and we can protect ourselves from cyber threats. Thank you.
Indeed, Susan. Along with expecting society to acknowledge good cyber practices, it is our responsibility to do our own part in securing our personal privacy. And securing personal privacy will lead to the decline in the risk of cyber threats. Thank you, Susan, and over to you, Jasmine.
Thank you. And thank you, Susan, for those valuable points. Okay, let's roll the die and take it further. We got 2. So from 31, we go 2 steps to 33. And 33 is trafficking. So trafficking occurs not only physically, but also on the internet. All of us here may have heard of cyberbullying and cyber trafficking. And also we heard that from Latin America. To prevent all these dangerous events, we follow a set of rules called cyber safety rules. It is very important to make people aware of cyber safety, especially children, as they are more vulnerable. Susan, can you please comment on cyber trafficking and cyber safety?
Yes, Jasmine. So now I would like to talk about a real life shocking incident that happened to a young girl my age who was a victim of cybercrime. She, like many other teen girls, was unaware of the dangers lurking in the cyber world. As she proceeded without caution, she fell into a trap. She went through many harrowing days and cyberbullying, not knowing who to turn to and finding it difficult to confide in family or friends. This is something in recent days is happening with greater frequency. The people involved in this crime are still large and continue to remain great threat to many others. This can happen to anyone, and hence it is important to be cyber secure and cyber wise. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. So we forgot to see the ladder, which is at 33, which goes up to 49. So let's go up the ladder to right 49. So right number 49 is report. Okay, let's see what we can say about reporting. So of the cyber safety rules that I told you that are very important to block cyber trafficking and cyberbullying, reporting is one of the main steps for cyber safety. Susan, can you please tell us something about reporting and how important it is?
Yes, Jasmine. Any form of cyberbullying or breach of cybersecurity, however minimal it may seem, has to be reported and brought to the notice of authorities. Now, I would like to hand it over to Teresa ma'am to share her thought as an adult practitioner. Ma'am, could you please share your thoughts on this?
Thank you, Susan and Jasmine. As a Good Shepherd organization, we are duty-bound to ensure that safeguarding protocols are in place for children and vulnerable people. This includes having appropriate workflow processes to respond to reports of possible abuse or violations. It is important that all of us understand that safeguarding is a whole community approach, meaning everyone who is connected to Good Shepherd has to ensure that our premises are safe for children and vulnerable people. Hence, you will find that Good Shepherd has capacity development sessions on safeguarding for all who work with and are connected to us. From the general workers to teachers to the principal and board members and all Good Shepherd sisters as well. No one is exempted. And Susan, you may have just shared just now that Good Shepherd also creates awareness in children and their parents. And this strengthens the whole community approach. And the safeguarding policy, as you mentioned, is a blueprint or a map towards achieving this. There is much to do. You rightly said there's much to do. And it's important to acknowledge that the work has begun.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarita and Susan. And Jasmine, it's been so refreshing to see how all of you have managed to pull off snake and ladders. Thank you, and it's been a privilege to have all of you aboard. So it's a wrap with Asia Pacific. And once again, a big thank you to all our panelists who've done a fantastic job in empowering all of us joined here today. Now, our third panel takes us to Africa. We will begin with a short video posing the question, who is better off? So, who's better to educate us on this subject than our next panelists from Africa? Isn't internet access a human right? Our panelists, Atabile from South Africa, Daisy and Ayola from Uganda, and Mirana and Malala, two sisters from Madagascar, will discuss lack of digital access. Our first panelist is Atabile, a 15-year-old student from South Africa who has been an incredibly active girl advocate. I've had the pleasure of working with Atabile in October of 2022, where she joined us for ITG. Atabile shared her story of advocacy against domestic violence, and her strength impacted us all. Atabile joins us today to discuss her experience with the lack of access to technology, along with the poem she prepared. So over to you, Atabile, and it's a pleasure to have you joining us from South Africa.
Thank you, Crystal. My name is Atabile. I am in grade 11. I live in South Africa, in a suburb named Boysenpark. I am a girl who enjoys speaking up and sharing opinions about my experiences. The internet can either have positive or negative impact in society. In my community, we don't have access to the internet. I, myself, don't have a cell phone, but I experienced cyberbullying at school. When I was in grade 9, a boy made a fool of me on social media. It hurt me, but I was able to conquer it. Last year, when I was in grade 10, another incident happened. A boy in my school took my picture and posted it on social media without my permission or knowledge. Many students laughed at me and passed negative remarks. Instead of being suicidal, I was motivated to write my poem about the internet, which I share now. Oh, the internet, a blade that touches my arm and watch me bleed. A bully thinking I'll plead, but I'm just calm. Oh, the internet, a bully that suffocates me just to watch my life slip away. A bully that is the frozen heat who strangles me just to watch me bruise in the wind. Oh, the internet, driving girls out of school, drowning them in pools of cyberbullying, emotional abuse. Yet you think it's cool? Oh, the internet. I thank you.
Atabile, it's truly incredible to see how you have gained confidence through your experiences. And we are indeed proud of the steps you have taken in enlightening all of us. It's crucial that we eliminate such incidents, and your voice surely plays a strong role in it. Your voice is our future, and I salute you. On to our next panelist, Mirana from Madagascar. It is an exciting time because Mirana will be discussing her first time experience using Zoom and engaging in CSW. This sharing will help you to recall your own digital journey. Take it away, Mirana.
Merci Christelle de m'avoir donné la parole. Je m'appelle Miran, j'ai 14 ans, je suis une collégienne en classe de 3e. Malal est ma sœur et nous sommes ensemble dans cette aventure. La première fois que j'ai zoomé, j'étais nerveuse. Il y avait tellement de participants et je n'en connaissais aucun d'entre eux. Cette première expérience a suscité mon désir d'en savoir plus sur les ordinateurs, Internet et comment me connecter avec les autres. Permettez-moi de partager avec vous mes expériences et mon point de vue concernant le sujet que nous discutions aujourd'hui. J'étudie dans un collège jésuite en classe de 3e. Tous les lundis, nous avons la possibilité d'avoir un cours d'informatique d'1 heure par semaine à l'école. Nous n'avons pas de relation, donc nous apprenons juste Word et Excel. Nous sommes 44 en classe. Dans ma classe, nous partageons un ordinateur entre 3 étudiants. Je suis très heureuse de la possibilité qui nous est donnée d'apprendre et d'utiliser des outils numériques et de parler des filles du monde entier. C'était tellement intéressant d'assister au caucus public des filles où nous parlions de la commission de la condition de la femme et d'entendre d'autres filles parler de la technologie. Je veux en savoir plus et être capable d'utiliser davantage Internet. Mais pour le moment, je suis limitée. Je sais qu'il y a beaucoup de filles à Madagascar qui ne peuvent pas aller à l'école ou qui savent lire et écrire. C'est la pauvreté. Mais aujourd'hui, il y a un niveau de pauvreté. Il y a un niveau de pauvreté supplémentaire. Ces filles ne sont pas seulement analphabètes, mais maintenant numériquement analphabètes. Ils sont radicalement pauvres. Ce type de pauvreté est un obstacle majeur à l'autonomisation. Malheureusement, il y a encore beaucoup de filles à Madagascar qui n'ont jamais vu ou touché un ordinateur. En raison de ma petite expérience, je profite de chaque occasion pour plaider en faveur d'accès à l'ordinateur et de la culture informatique pour chaque fille et chaque garçon à Madagascar. J'ai demandé à plusieurs reprises à mes parents un téléphone, mais mon père a répondu « pas pour le moment et que tu es encore mineur ». Il y a trop de mauvaises influences sur le site et les filles sont abusées en ligne. Je comprends qu'ils ont peur de me laisser commencer à mon âge d'utiliser des technologies minimales comme le téléphone. Alors maintenant, je me demande, à quel âge sommes-nous les filles à autoriser accès à l'Internet? Même avec l'ordinateur et le Zoom, il m'était difficile de m'engager. Ma première langue est le malgache, oui, le français. Mais quand je vais à cette réunion, elles sont toujours en anglais. La langue est donc importante et indissociable à la technologie. J'en suis tellement convaincue que j'apprends actuellement l'anglais. Je me rends compte que cela m'ouvre au monde. Je partage mes expériences et ma conviction avec tous mes amis. Le numérique est indispensable à notre époque. L'accès à l'Internet et aux appareils sont les outils essentiels pour vaincre la pauvreté dans notre pays. Je vous remercie pour votre aimable attention.
Thank you, Mirana, for sharing your first experience with Zoom. It has truly enlightened us about the plight that girls in Madagascar endure. This highlights the urgent need to make social and systemic changes which can impact all the girls and provide equitable access to technology. It is also interesting to point out that girls in rural parts of Latin America deal with the same issue of lack of access as those in Madagascar. And as shown in the opening video, who's better off? As Paulina mentioned previously, the government's inability to provide internet access in schools in rural areas need to change. The video ended with, "Isn't internet access a human right?" And the girls respond, "Yes, digital rights are human rights." Now, let us watch a video of Daisy and Ayolo, two girls from Uganda who are sharing their stories about the lack of access of technology. This happened through the collaboration of Sister Helen Tabe, a member of the missionary congregation of the Evangelizing Sisters of Mary in Uganda. The sisters have a catechetical and social ministry, are very aware of the needs of girls, and wanted to have girls' voices and experiences in Uganda heard. We are grateful to Sister Helen for these video clips.
I prepare St. Gonzaga Primary School. I'm 13 years old. I stay with my mother and brother. I am here to share with you the life of access to technology. When we were locked down for 2 years, I used to hear about technology, but I didn't know what was the meaning of that. And I used to hear people learning online. And I used to ask my mom, what does online learning mean? She could not interpret it to me because she is not much educated. So I used to see my friends holding smartphones, learning online. They used to say, I lack data. And I used to say, what does data look like? I said that data was a person, yet it wasn't. So when I was at our school, our teachers used to teach us about the projectors, computer, tablets, and I used to ask my teacher what was a projector, and he used to tell me that a projector is something which can watch on news. And I thought that a projector was Accra. So like some international schools, they learn on smart boards, but first we don't have a smart board because our government is poor to get like each school has a smart board because we have many schools in Uganda. So as a girl child and also those other girl child, I appeal that they also get access to the computer and like smartphones, tablets, and I appeal that a girl child should not shy away to learn about modern things because the world is going ahead. It's going ahead fastly. And I would like the girl child to learn about the electrics, like that yaka thing which they brought. Some of us, we don't know how to use that meter box of theirs.
I'm Latoya Brenda, 17 years old, a student at Junior Comprehensive Senior Secondary School. I'm in Senior 3. I live in Uganda. Today I'm here to share my experience about lack of access to technology. During COVID time that took almost 2 years, whereby the students were left home, it was really hard for some of us in that online studies were going on, whereby some of us lacked even the televisions, smartphones, for making research and also online studies. So it really became hard for some of us. We ended up just hanging like that without getting the knowledge about computer use. Also, lack of knowledge by some of our parents about the computer use. Some of our parents are not even educated. Well, when they even told us, the parents, to be helping us with some few units from home, they were not able because of the knowledge that they lacked. So when school time came, we went back to school, but with no knowledge about the computer use and also online studies. Another thing is insufficient funds to purchase the data. Because for one to get access to internet, you should be having the data for making at least research, online studies, and yet in other schools, students were really studying using those equipments being given up to them. So we were just there trying to get some things from them, but still we couldn't because of the money we lacked. Because at that time everything needed money during the COVID time. Another thing is lack of computers at our schools. Our school is really a big school which has a big number of students, but with only 3 computers. So most of us were left behind and couldn't get the access to using the 3 computers. So we really desire to be given more computers at our school.
I am shocked to see the similar plight of my friends in Africa. There is much work to be done for marginalized girls oppressed by powerful institutions, so as to enable their voices for advocacy and representation. Every girl across the globe should be at the digital table of conversation. Now, let us listen to Malala, an activist representing girls from Madagascar, who has been actively engaging with the Good Shepherd advocacy programs. Over to you, Malala.
Merci Christelle de m'avoir donné la parole. Je m'appelle Malal, j'ai 16 ans, je suis de Madagascar, je suis en classe de première. Je suis heureux de pouvoir participer à ce panel pour partager mes expériences et mes points de vue concernant la technologie. J'ai commencé à prendre conscience de l'importance de la technologie numérique en octobre, lorsque j'ai participé pour la première fois à une réunion virtuelle de type Zoom avec sœur Ernestine. J'étais panéliste pour défendre notre droit à l'éducation pour tous. En février, j'ai participé au caucus public, travaillant sur l'avant-projet de la Commission de la condition de la femme. Cette expérience m'a ouvert les yeux et m'a permis d'apprendre. Je ne savais pas encore ce que c'était une réunion Zoom. En faisant l'expérience, j'ai compris. C'était fantastique de voir plusieurs personnes sous forme de type Zoom. J'étais émerveillée par le progrès de la technologie. À l'école, j'étais excitée de partager mes expériences avec mes amis en classe. Notre discussion a été animée par l'opinion de nos parents sur le sujet. C'est-à-dire, chacun de nous a partagé qu'est-ce que nos parents pensent sur la technologie. Selon certains parents, la technologie est pour les garçons, mais non pas trop nécessaire pour les filles. Pas de permission d'avoir un téléphone portable parce qu'ils ont peur que la technologie ruine l'éducation. Détourne la culture et la mentalité. Pas de moyen d'acheter le téléphone portable ou s'abonner à la connexion. C'est très difficile à contrôler parce que l'influence négative dans le numérique est très forte de nos jours. Beaucoup qui exploitent les filles en ligne, donc non, etc. Oui, les impacts négatifs sont nombreux selon notre discussion dans le groupe. Mais à mon avis, ce sont des facteurs à surmonter, un grand défi à résoudre pour atteindre l'égalité des sexes et l'autonomisation des filles. C'est pourquoi nous continuons à plaider pour que toute la génération d'aujourd'hui puisse jouir de ces droits en matière d'innovation numérique. Nous avons l'Internet, mais ce n'est pas suffisant pour l'utiliser pour mes études. Le coût de la connexion est très élevé. Mes parents ne peuvent pas se le permettre. Je sais que des milliers de filles sont dans la même situation que moi. Des cours en ligne ont été lancés à Madagascar pendant le Covid. Mais beaucoup d'étudiants ne peuvent pas continuer leurs études parce qu'ils n'ont pas l'argent pour payer la connexion Internet. Ce manque d'accès à ces technologies augmente l'inégalité et crée une fracture numérique. Je plaide pour que la technologie soit accessible à toutes les filles, sans aucune discrimination. C'est un moyen essentiel pour parvenir à l'égalité des sexes et l'autonomisation. Mon rêve est qu'aucune fille et aucun garçon ne soit laissé pour compte. Nous devons tous être en mesure de partager les développements qui se produisent dans le monde aujourd'hui. Je plaide pour la mise en place des centres Internet dans la communauté et des cours d'informatique. Je vous remercie pour votre aimable attention.
Malala, it is great to see you voicing out your concerns and demands. This is the first step to unite and advocate for girls' rights in Madagascar. And I think adults need to be sensitized about this without delay, that you and I will be on the same page soon. Thank you once again, and we are indeed privileged to have all of you as our panelists joining in from Africa this morning. Your voices indeed project your leadership, and it's undoubtedly vital to have such activists in our midst to lead the forefront for girl-specific solutions. So now it has been over an hour that we have been listening to the powerful voices across the globe, and the message is the same. Girls have every right to digital literacy and safe access. So now the floor is open for questions. We will request the support of the interpreters to translate the questions posed in different languages. Please kindly use the raise hand option if you wish to ask a question. And you may also post a question on the chat box. So we would like to have all our participants joining in the text in the chat boxes. So if you've got any comments, please feel free to insert them on the chat boxes. And we've got quite a lot of participants joining in today with quite a lot of comments as well, which are extremely motivating to all of us today. We would also request our participants to kindly unmute to say anything that you would want as a comment to today's webinar.
Crystal, it seems that we do have a question from Gail. In the chat box, it says, how is it possible to overcome the cultural challenges against technology for girls?
Yes, thank you, Kimberly. So would we have any of our panelists ready to answer the question?
As a reminder, the question is, how is it possible to overcome the cultural challenges against technology for girls? Crystal, maybe you'd like to answer that question?
Okay. So how is it possible to overcome the cultural challenges against technology for girls? So as all of our panelists have joined today in elaborating on this question, it seems that all of our countries are different, and Asian moms could be different, African moms could be different, but then as a common answer, it is that along with the conventional aspects and along with COVID as well, we have to adjust with what's happening to our countries. So it will be best for parents as well as everybody to accept the situation and open up to technology and give your children, give girls, give boys the opportunity to, I guess it's a good investment as well to like invest on internet, because it's obvious that it's going to give you a good impact. So culturally, I guess it's best for us to be open-minded and to take a step and to not be disappointed with our choices. So along with negativity, along with positive, so there's negative aspects, there's positive aspects, but I guess it's going to be beneficial for us if we take the positive aspect of it and move on with getting along with this situation. So yeah, take a step forward and let's move on with digital rights.
Well said, Crystal, well said. The next question is from Florentine. She has her hand raised. Florentine, could you unmute yourself, please?
Ok, je suis Sœur Hortense de Madagascar. Merci à tous les panélistes pour la présentation très intéressante. Et ce que je voudrais vous partager, il y a beaucoup d'endroits, si je parle seulement ici à Madagascar, je suis à Mourndave, à côté du canal de Mozambique. Il y a encore beaucoup d'endroits, il n'y a même pas de réseau pour l'accès au téléphone. Alors, je trouve que à propos des technologies, il y a une égalité très différente dans le monde, parce que c'est pas seulement l'accès de la connexion à l'Internet, mais chez nous, il y a encore beaucoup d'endroits où on manque de réseaux. On ne peut pas accéder au téléphone même. Et merci beaucoup aussi aux présentations des filles qui ont présenté là, parce que ça, c'est vrai, il y a encore cette grande inégalité entre filles et garçons. Et je ne sais pas comment nous pouvons, dans beaucoup de choses, mais surtout dans la technologie, dans le numérique, on voit bien cette inégalité, discrimination, en parlant, en pensant pour les droits pour les filles et pour les garçons. Et merci beaucoup à nous tous qui essayent de travailler et voir pour avoir cette égalité. Merci.
Thank you so much, sister, for that lovely response. And thank you so much for engaging along with us today. So would we be having anybody else who's ready to take a step and join us with today's conversation?
Crystal, I think we might have to wrap up as time is approaching, but
sure, Kimberly.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and that was an amazing engagement along with enlightening responses. Over to you, Vivian.
Bien dicho, Crystal. Nuestro panel es la evidencia de que el cambio está en nuestras manos. Internet nos abre las puertas al mundo de la comunidad de nuestro hogar, y a veces el mundo puede ser un espacio peligroso. Sin embargo, podemos hacerlo más seguro para nosotras, las niñas. Conectando nuestras voces y acciones comunitarias, podemos hacer un cambio que necesita y que es nuestro derecho. Muchas gracias a todos por escucharnos y animarnos a seguir alzando nuestras voces. Sigamos alzando la voz para que el cambio esté en nuestras manos. Ahora, le damos la bienvenida a Sashi, nuestra defensora adulta de Buen Pastor en India, que nos ayuda a alzar nuestras voces para el cambio. Sashi. Sashi?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Vivian, for introducing me to this platform today. I'm going to be sharing some thoughts which have been bursting in me from the time I have been listening to all of you. I start with a familiar quote. Swaraj is my birthright, and I shall have it. The famous words by the late Indian freedom fighter, Bala Gangadhar Tilak, comes to my mind. And I rephrase it as follows. Digital access is my right, and I shall have it. This is the slogan which I came across in different tones from all the participants in the panel today. We are at the crossroads where artificial intelligent teachers, the robots, have replaced teachers like me in one side of the world, whereas many other parts are still clamoring for a roof called as a school. To change a system, we need to have the courage to step into the unknown. It is time we awaken our consciousness from my right to our right. As an educator, an environment builder, I have three responsibilities before me. One, intention precedes action. I have to kindle that spark of intention to be an advocate for oneself and others every day through my education. To every child I come in contact with. If you restore trust, hope, and resilience in people, then their actions become an intrinsic thing. Well, the second point, I have to shift the outer space of learning where every student is a change agent. We met some of the change agents here just now. And I have to hold the space for that change of heart from me to we, constantly acting as a catalyst. You know, my presence bringing in that change is so important. Well, we have commenced the Good Shepherd Me to We lab in India, where educators and students can connect, explore, and co-create advocates who will collaborate and voice their rights. I hope that this engagement has a ripple effect. Okay, to point number 3. I have to shift the inner space of learning so that every student thinks just not with their head, but also with their heart, hand, and soul. This will encourage every person to know their responsibility as a change maker. Okay, we have good news for all of you. This panel is only the beginning of more conversations, training, and resource sharing across the digital platform so that the gaps between the haves and the have-nots, between Jasmine and Malala, Paula and Marina, is bridged. So I take this opportunity to ask every participant here to share one hope for attaining this digital access for all, this digital right for all. We will be having a link to the Mentimeter, which I have just posted here for you. And here is the question. What is your one hope for securing your digital rights? One hope for securing your digital rights. And the responses which come in different languages, I invite Crystal and Vivian to read. So let's see what are the responses coming.
Thank you so much, Sashi ma'am.
What is your one hope? May I share the responses? I can see some of them are already coming in. Crystal and Vivian, are you happy to read them?
Sure, ma'am.
Go on, go ahead.
Support of parents, inclusion,
Empoderamiento de niñas, participación, inclusión, unidad, apertura,
respect, gender equality, the girl child, technology, creating awareness, solidarity, respect, embrace the equity, universal access, openness, inclusion, change, together, love, a better and safe future, provide resources. Got quite a lot of responses coming in. That all may have access to computer. Okay, so we've got to wrap that session. So thank you so much, Sashi ma'am, and undoubtedly, you've succeeded today as well in touching the hearts of everyone present here today with your words. And as we draw the curtains on today's panel, we extend our heartiest gratitude to all our participants who've joined in impacting the digital revolution. On behalf of the girls, I express my solidarity with the innumerable girls or warriors in war-torn countries and vulnerable situations who are far from engaging in such conversations. I believe that each one of us is obliged to be their advocates. And hats off to all our panelists who joined in from time zones around the world for a job well done. Thank you for your efforts rendered towards making CSW67 an empowering and promising session this morning. And a special thank you goes out to all our interpreters, mentors, and Good Shepherd mission partners who have steered us towards powerful engagement. Sister Winifred and Kimberly, words are not adequate. Thank you for enabling this very important platform, bringing Good Shepherd girls into a global movement. Together, we can make better tomorrows. Thank you.